Hey guys, Gino here. Today I am going to be shooting a couple of Sig Sauer M17s. And the first one is brand new. I've never fired it, and it actually doesn't belong to me. This belongs to one of my buddies who's in law enforcement in California, and I'm just waiting for him to pick it up. But he said it's okay to go ahead and run a few magazines through it, make sure it functions properly, all that good stuff. So that's what I plan on doing. The other one is mine, and I have fired it. So I was out here a few weeks ago with my brother-in-law and my nephew, and we actually brought out several different fun guns, and we did shoot this though. So I zeroed the RMR, and total we probably fired 125 rounds through it, so not many, but it has been fired. And both of these handguns are 9mm. So today I'm going to be using the Fiocchi 124 grain full metal jacket. And I use this quite a bit. It seems like quality ammo to me. I've never had a problem with it. So let me go ahead and readjust the camera and we'll get started. I readjusted the camera and I'm going to start out shooting at my close range targets. The first silhouette's around 5 yards, the second one's around 8, and the third one's a little over 10. And I am gonna start out shooting my buddy's gun. Since I've never fired it, I want to kind of see where the sights are hitting and get a feel for how it handles. All right, Paul. Here go the first rounds fired out of your brand new M17. I went ahead and repainted the targets so that I could go ahead and fire a couple magazines with my M17 with this Trijicon RMR. I adjusted the camera to focus in on my intermediate targets. The black gong is around 12 yards. The first black silhouette is around 16 yards. The white silhouette is around 21 yards. And the second black silhouette is around 26 yards. And I'm going back to my buddy's M17 with just the iron sights. I'm switching back to my M17 with the Trijicon RMR. So I think you could see that there was a couple times when I was kind of slow to start firing. And not to make excuses, but when I came out here a few weeks ago with my brother-in-law and my nephew and mounted this RMR, that was the first time that I'd ever fired a red dot on a pistol. I've been firing red dots on rifles for years, or using red dots. But for me, there is a little bit of a learning curve that I'm going to have to overcome. My natural point of aim, when I bring the handgun up, I find that, I don't see the dot. What I have to do is drop the nose or the muzzle end of the handgun, and then I pick up the dot. So for me, right now it's not natural, but I think with, practice and training and through a little bit of time, that, that'll become more of a natural point of aim when I have a red dot on a handgun, because I really do like them, and I think that they're going to help increase accuracy out at those longer range targets. Now I'm going to shoot at my long range targets. So my long range set of targets starts at 41 yards, and it's the third black silhouette as you're looking out there. That next black silhouette is at 53, then you have one at 62, one at 77, a little over 77, and I've added a new one. The farthest one out there, I lays that at 104.5 yards, so hopefully I can put at least a couple hits on it. We'll see. Before shooting at the long range targets, I wanted to go over some of the specs of the SIG M17 for those of you out there that might be interested. The Sig Sauer P320 M17 is a 9mm semi-automatic striker-fired handgun that uses either a 17-round flush fit magazine or a 21-round extended magazine. The handgun does weigh 29.6 ounces or 1.85 pounds, and that's unloaded. The barrel is 4.7 inches long, and it's made of carbon steel. The slide is made of stainless steel, and it has a Coyote PVD finish. And the handgun does come standard with night sights and a cutout for mounting optics, like the Trijicon RMR that I mounted on my M17. And as a side note, this RMR has a 9 MOA dot, which is really big. It's, probably good for up close fast shooting. But the next red dot that I would like to get is something like a Trijicon SRO with the 1 MOA or maybe the 2.5 MOA dot, something a little bit smaller that'll help with target shooting, especially at those longer ranges. The grip on the M17 is made of polymer, and it has this Coyote tan color that almost matches the Coyote PVD coating on the slide. But the grip size feels good, and the texture on the grip is nice. It doesn't feel overly aggressive to me. Now the trigger on this handgun feels like a typical striker fired trigger to me. It's a little bit mushy and not real predictable, other than knowing that if you apply enough pressure, it's going to fire at some point. Now, but its intended purpose as a military sidearm, this type of trigger is fine for that. There's nothing wrong with that. The controls on this handgun are fully ambidextrous, and both of these M17s do have the external safety. SIG does sell a model of the M17 without that external safety if you don't like that. Right forward of that external safety is the slide lock, slide release lever. And what kind of rounds out the fully ambidextrous is the magazine release. It's a nice size, and it does have texture on it, so that if you're doing those really fast magazine changes and just raining lead onto the target, it'll definitely assist in that. And it is reversible. So I am a left-handed pistol shooter, so I did reverse the magazine release on my M17. I didn't reverse it on Paul's. And you may have seen, while I was shooting at the close targets, when I had to do a magazine change and use my trigger finger to press the magazine release button, it was just a little bit slower than when I used my thumb to release the magazine with this pistol. Okay, I think that about covers the highlights of the M17. So now I am going to shoot at the long range targets. And when my brother-in-law and my nephew were out on the range a few weeks ago, they helped me put in a new longer range target, and I'm eager to see if I can get some hits on it. First up is my buddy's M17 with just the iron sights. All right, I'm going to go ahead and shift out to that 53-yard target. So now I am going to shift out to that 62-yard target. Alright, so now I'm going to shift out to that 77-yard target. Okay, and just for fun, I'm going to shift to that 104.5 yard target. Like I said, I don't know if I can hit it or not, but it should be fun to try. All right, well, I think I hit it a couple times. Now I'm going to zoom back out of the 104.5 yard target. So now let's see if I can get some hits with my M17 that has the Trijicon RMR on it. And I don't think I mentioned it, but this is the RM05, and it has a green 9 MOA dot. I'm going to shift out to that 53-yard target. So now I'm going to zoom in on the 62-yard target. I'm going to pull back from there and zoom in on that 77-yard target. So now I'm going to pull out of there and zoom in on the 104-yard target. So it sounded like I got some hits on it. I couldn't really see it, but I'm going to go ahead and pull out of there now and readjust back into the closer range targets. Alright guys, that'll end the shooting for today. And I have to say it was a lot of fun shooting both of these Sig Sauer M17s. And I wound up putting around 130 rounds or so through each of the pistols. And I know that's not a lot, but I did not have a single malfunction of any type out of either of the handguns. And after the first couple magazines, I did run a patch through the bore of my buddies, you know, just to kind of help out that barrel. And I also realized with mine that I am going to need a lot more training on this red dot before I get really comfortable with it. But I can definitely see the potential, especially the accuracy potential at those longer range targets. So any day that I can come out here and shoot steel is a good day. But when I get to come out here and shoot steel with two Sig Sauer M17s, that's a really good day. I will see you guys next time.